The Beatles' meteoric rise to fame in the early 1960s was nothing short of extraordinary. Less than 18 months after the release of their debut single Love Me Do in the UK, they were captivating an American audience of 73 million on The Ed Sullivan Show as their hit, I Want to Hold Your Hand, took the country by storm. Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and John Lennon were instantly renowned throughout the globe in only a few short months. It wasn't easy for John Lennon to deal with his sudden celebrity, and his inner turmoil informed some of his most famous songs. John discussed the immense popularity of the Beatles with Playboy in 1980, admitting that he had been struggling with emotions of powerlessness at the time. Help, one of the Beatles' most famous songs, was inspired by the sense of helplessness and bewilderment. This song, which John wrote in the spring of 1965, served as the title tune for the band's second film and album. John recounted being thrust into the duty of composing a song that suited the new name of the picture, which was altered shortly before the band began working on the soundtrack. Stanley Parks, one of John's friends, recalled a day when John returned from the studio and announced, "They've changed the title of the film. It's going to be called Help now. So, I have to write a new song with that title." The whole emotional significance of Help finally dawned on John following the song's debut. Despite the song's reputation as a generic quick rock and roll number, he admitted in an interview from 1980 that it was actually a genuine plea for assistance. Looking back, he sees that the song was about so much more than just being asked to compose it for the film. At the time, he was just following directions. While discussing how he and the movie's protagonist were disoriented, confused, and cut off from their own selves, he drew parallels to Elvis Presley's Fat Elvis era. When John reflected on how much easier life had been when he was younger, the song mirrored his inner anguish. There were other songs by John that revealed his emotional turmoil. Help was only one of them. He was also the songwriter of the song I'm a Loser, that appeared on the December 1964 Beatles album Beatles for Sale. A string of contemplative songs by John, including Nowhere Man and, of course, Help, began with this tune. Lyrics such as, "Although I laugh and I act like a clown, beneath this mask I am wearing a frown. In I'm a Loser, delve into the anguish of a fling gone wrong. Do I weep for her or for myself, as my tears cascade down my cheeks like rain?" John characterized the time around I'm a Loser as his Dylan period, citing the impact of Bob Dylan as an example in an interview from 1974. He went on to say that he was self-conscious about using the term clown in the song at first, but that Dylan's usage of it inspired him to use it in his own music. The song I'm a Loser was a watershed moment for John, showing his newfound emotional fragility, and Paul McCartney saw it coming. Paul now realizes that John wrote songs like I'm a Loser and Nowhere Man as prayer requests. He brought up the fact that the Beatles' affinity for country and Western music, which often dealt with pain and loss, allowed them to subconsciously explore similar topics in their own songs. Paul now understood how courageous John had been to use music to talk about his problems.